Hello and welcome to Threefold Herbal Healing. I'm herbalist Leo Sade. I help people who struggle with chronic conditions grow their health from the roots up. Today I wanted to speak to you about PPI, proton pump inhibitors. Uh, what are they? When to use them? When it's better to avoid them? When can they benefit you? What are the risks? Let's dive right in. PPIs or proton pump inhibitors are over-the-counter medicines and prescribed medicines that reduce stomach acid in people with GERD, stomach ulcers, H. pylori, and Barrett esophagus. If you listen to your video and hear everything I have to say about PPI, but you are prescribed PPI by your doctor, do not stop taking them without advising your doctor. You want to have this conversation with them. Originally, PPI were meant to be used for 8 to 12 weeks in cases of GERD. They are effective in eliminating the symptoms of GERD. They are over the counter and they are cheap. You know, if you go out and buy a bottle of Tums, it's very inexpensive. Therefore, many people use them almost daily without being aware of their long-term effect on their nutritional status and overall health. So if you're one of those people who really use PPI almost daily, you want to listen to this. To understand why chronic use of PPIs is not in your best interest, you first want to understand the role of stomach acid in digestion. Stomach acid is extremely important in digestion and in immunity by creating a very low pH in your stomach. And I'm talking about 1.5 to 3.5. This is really an acidic environment. So why it's important that we have an acidic environment in our stomach? One thing it does, it's break down vitamins B from protein. And it's important because you need vitamin B for many functions in your body. The other thing is it helps absorb minerals and vitamins, including calcium, magnesium, zinc, copper, chromium, selenium, manganese, iron, folic acid, vitamin C, and beta carotene. You really need your acid in order to break down and absorb all of that. It also play a role as an immune defense because how much you wash your food, there is always bacteria in them. And the stomach acid, the acidic environment, basically kills bacteria that come into your body on your food. It also keeps H. pylori bacteria in check. So many people have H. pylori, and I know that a lot of holistic health practitioners say that you need to get rid of them. But actually, H. pylori in an environment that is acidic enough is beneficial. When your stomach acids is balanced, it keeps your H. pylori in small amounts, and it doesn't affect anything in your body. It doesn't create any problem. It's even beneficial. The last thing is that reducing pH in the duodenum by, when you eat food, you break it down in your stomach and then it's squirted into the duodenum, the upper part of the small intestine. And because it is mixed with all those acids from the stomach, it reduces the pH in the duodenum. Not as much as in the stomach, but still it's a reduced pH. And that's protect the upper part of the small intestine from dysbiosis and SIBO. And many people that have lower stomach acid will eventually get SIBO too. A healthy stomach ecosystem affects your nutrient status, which affects your capacity of every cell in your body to produce energy. This is why you want to pay attention when the alarm bells sound from your stomach. So if you struggle with GERD, it's not just an inconvenient symptom. It is also an alarm bell that the stomach is sending you. You want to listen to that alarm bell and solve the problem from the roots up. GERD occurs when the lower esophageal sphincter doesn't close properly and it allows stomach contact to reflux into the esophagus. Most people who struggle with GERD recognize the burning sensation in the chest. If you are one of those people who struggle with acid reflux, let me assure you, you don't struggle with acid reflux because you are PPI deficient. This is not the reason. So let's look at the root cause. What are the root cause of GERD? There is a common misconception that GERD happens because the stomach produces too much stomach acid. But this is one of the biggest myths about the GI tract. Not true. The real root cause, and there are a couple of root causes, we will discuss them, but the most common root cause of GERD is actually low stomach acid due to nutrient deficiencies and stress. So let's talk about the nutrient deficiency. Producing stomach acid is one of the most energy-consuming functions in the body. If your diet doesn't provide the body with the vitamins and minerals that you need in order to produce energy, the body cannot create stomach acid. Some of the vitamins and minerals essential for energy production are vitamin B1, B2, B3, B5, magnesium, iron, and B12. B vitamin deficiency and low stomach acid production can become a vicious cycle because stomach acid is essential for releasing B vitamin from the food that you eat. And without stomach acid, you can't release those vitamins. So what you have is a cycle of not releasing vitamin can produce enough stomach acid, not having enough stomach acid to produce B vitamin. Other nutrient deficiency that are kind of reducing stomach acids are zinc and salt or chloride because stomach acid is made out of zinc and chloride. So, and water, you want to be well hydrated in order to synthesize stomach acid in your body. Another way that reduces stomach acid production is chronic stress. When you're stressed, your body is primed for fight or flight. Therefore, it shunts blood rich with oxygens and nutrients to the muscles. You are ready to fight or you're ready to run away. The digestive system gets only enough blood to survive until the threat is removed. But what happens if the threat is never removed? In chronic stress, poor circulation leads to atrophy. Your digestive tract is left starving for nutrient and oxygen, and you can't produce enough stomach acids. Another root cause of GERD might be dysbiosis or SIBO. You probably heard about your gut bacteria and their important role they play in managing your immune system, your mood, your metabolism. Very important. However, a thriving gut bacteria population belongs in the colon, not in the small intestines. Your small intestines should have a much smaller colony of critters. Why? Because that's where you absorb nutrients and you don't want competition on nutrients. When you have a large number of or an imbalance in the species of critters in your small intestines, the food you eat feeds them, leading to nutrient deficiency, but also to bloating and gas because they ferment that food. Bloating and gas increase the pressure in the abdomen and force the esophageal sphincter to open, leading to acid reflux. Another reason for acid reflux is basically mechanical dysfunction. When you have hiatal hernia or you have dysfunction in the sphincter itself and it doesn't close tight enough. That can happen in obesity when there is too much pressure of the fat on the stomach. It can happen in pregnancy when, again, there is too much pressure. It can happen in chronic constipation or chronic cough. So pay attention to that too. When you understand that the root cause of GERD is not in the PPIs, you understand that the PPIs basically do the opposite of what you want it to do. It's increase stomach acid instead of increasing them. It's increased the risk of infection. It's increased nutrient deficiency. Increased dysbiosis and SIBO. You know that PPI long term, especially, is not in your better interest. Short-term use of PPI for about 8 weeks could be helpful while working on the root cause of the GERD. So while establishing a nutrient-dense diet, while reducing stress, if you have bleeding ulcer, for sure you want to use PPI and take care of your bleeding ulcer, let the tissue repair and build, and then stop the PPI. And then there are those real cases where you actually have elevated stomach acid production. Most cases of hyperacid production are due to an overactive immune system that produces and releases far too much histamine that needed and is normal, and that's lead to sky-high stomach acid, and you will probably need a relief until you take care of your histamine response. So stopping stomach acid is not something that is easy to do because there is a rebound effect. PPIs work by binding to the cells that produce stomach acid. The bond is irreversible, meaning that it will take the stomach between 3 to 5 days to create new cells that can start produce stomach acid after you stop the PPIs. If you use PPIs for a long time, you might not feel any symptom by when you stop them for the first 3 to 5 days. However, once the PPI effect win, the stomach will overcompensate and create even larger number of cells that produce acid reflux, and it will produce far more acid reflux than normal. So what you have now, if you began with underproductive, not enough stomach acid, you will end up with more acids than you need and symptoms of GERD. And some of those symptoms are harsh. You will get severe heartburn that is often worse than the original symptoms. You might get acid regurgitation, like when acid comes up and you want to vomit it. You want to get stomach ache, nausea, and sleep disturbances because you can't really lie down. It's all the time coming up. Those symptoms are harsh. They are not just unpleasant, but they can also damage the tissue of the stomach and the esophagus. The high acidity might burn the tissue, and like burn outside, it's really damaging to the tissue. I suggest that if you use stomach acid PPIs for a long time, you consult your doctor and terminate slowly. So you want to do a gradual process of tapering down dosage while supporting mucus production, building digestive fire, and addressing the root cause. I think you need professional help if you are going that way. Yeah. Pharma companies count on you not reading the small letters that accompany the over-the-counter meds. It is up to you to educate yourself before making informed decision. So if you're taking over-the-counter PPI, I'm not talking about once in a couple of months. I'm talking frequently, um, more frequently than even once a week. You wanna create a way to understand why do you need it, why you have the symptoms, and take care of the symptoms, not shut down the alarm bells. I hope it was beneficial. If you have any questions or comment, let me know in the comment below. And most of all, thank you for taking the time and listening to me blurbing about PPI. I think it's an urgent topic. I hope you find it beneficial. Have a good day.